Welcome everyone, I hope you're having a very wonderful day, and welcome to my guide for failed goats for Emerald Coast. Before we begin, I want to quickly break down how today's guide is going to work. So our first section will be covering hotspots and locations, and then our second section will be covering weapon recommendations, and then our last section will be covering the animal profile, which are a custom map, time zones, ammo charts, and more, everything you need to make your hunt life 10 times easier. So let's get right into it by quickly going over the drinking time for these feral goats. These guys like to drink between 12 to 15, so they will be out during the day, which makes hunting them pretty easy. And we're already at our first hotspot. I don't think all of my goats are here just yet, as I did just reset the time, but we have quite a few floating around. We should have a few level 4s if they've not arrived already. But we're going to quickly open up our map and go over where these guys like to reside, because these guys are actually the easiest animal in all of Emerald Coast to hunt. They only reside down here at the Dry Bone Plateau, and there's only 2 locations I can confirm that they're not at down in the section. So we have this undiscovered location here where my mouse is at, right below this outpost. I have not gotten any goats here whatsoever. Just confirming really quick. Yep, we only have hog deer and stuff, and there should be none over here as well. I've not gotten any feral goats over there as well. But pretty much everything else down here, all the waterways and the lakes, are fair game for these guys. So we're over here down at Hogan's Fields at this kind of like the largest lake of all of the plateau section. And we're going to just creep up here just so I can show you guys what is lurking around. We do have a few level 3s, and all these lakes pretty much have a ton of goats. I did enjoy hunting the little river sections, but these lakes hold quite a bit, to be quite honest with you. I did have one iffy lake, I do believe. I think it was this one down here next to my tent. And then these other 2 were pretty good as well. But I think a majority that were supposed to be down here are probably in this waterway, where I found quite a few as well. But I did not mark that as a hotspot because I think all the lakes down here are confirmed hotspots for these feral goats. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at the end of today's video. And we do have more goats walking up here. There we go. Speak of the devil, there's a level 4. And we have a level 3 back there. We should have quite a few other level 4s floating about. But that pretty much does it for their hotspots and locations. I'm going to head back to the lodge, where I'm going to quickly go over some weapon recommendations, folks. Alrighty, folks, so here we are back at the outpost. Before we begin, I want to mention quickly 3 things. First things first is I'm only going to be talking about rifles, handguns, and shotguns. I'll not be talking about bows because I'm not a bow expert, so I'll leave that to professionals. Secondly, these are just my personal recommendations and favorites. I always say go out there and explore and see what suits you and what you enjoy playing with. And then lastly, I'll be mentioning all the deals these weapons come from in case you want to pick them up for yourself. So let's get right into it with our first rifle of the day. The Thor's Elite 300 is a very, very solid bolt action. It just came from the newest pack for Call of the Wild, and it's got 6 rounds in it, and it's not the 300 Blackout. I mean, it is the 300 Blackout. I was going to say it's not the 300 Magnum, just for clarification. And it's really solid. I've used it about 4 to 5 times on these goats just to see how it feels. It's not my favorite out of the 3 rifles that I'm recommending today, but it is up there. It does the job, and you can find it in the Hunter's Choice Bolt Action Rifle Pack. Now, the next rifle is my personal favorite, as I've talked about it in the Kangaroo Guide. The special round for it that has the highest pen just overpens everything. It is very, very overpowered in my opinion. It just destroys these guys. You can shoot them and it'll go all the way through. If you shoot them from the front, it'll go out the back just about. So it's good. It does help with those tricky shots if they're angled in a very wrong way, just to that overpen. And you could find this bad boy, this model 1894, in the Ambusher pack, which I highly recommend picking up just because this rifle is so good. Moving on to our third and final rifle of the day, which is right here, the Mosin. I'm not going to refer to it as its name in game. I will always refer to it as the Mosin. Now, the one thing I do enjoy about this rifle is it's very solid, even though it has these soft point rounds. I wish it had some higher pennant rounds, but it only has access to soft point, so that's the downside I have to say about it. But it does do its job. It insta drops them too, just like the Model 1894. It's very, very fun to use. I love it a lot. This is why I originally used to hunt feral goats with before I had access to the Model 1894. So this thing does pretty good, and you could find this bad boy in the weapon pack too. Moving on to handguns, I'm going to be recommending my second favorite handgun in the entirety of the game. The 243 Kumo is very, very fun. Yes, it's a single shot pistol, but I think it's one of the best because you could put a rifle scope on it, which gives it that greater zoom. So it's very fun to use, and you can find it in the Assorted Sidearms Weapon Pack DLC. Moving on to shotguns, I wasn't originally going to recommend a shotgun, but I always do in all my videos. So in case you do want to hunt with a shotgun for these feral goats, I recommend the Norda 20 gauge. It's semi-auto. You have 3 rounds in there. It's very, very solid and very fun to use. Obviously, Emerald Coast is a very flat map, so I don't really see any practical use with shotguns unless you're in the northern section, especially since down here with these feral goats, there's really no way to sneak up on them unless you're in the creeks. But anyways, here's my suggestion for it, and it is in the Duck and Cover Pack DLC, which is, this thing is very fun to use, so I do recommend it. So that's pretty much it for the weapon recommendation section, guys. I'm going to head over to the animal profile and see you guys in just a moment. Alrighty folks, so here we are at the end of today's video. Before I let you guys go, I'm going to do a quick animal profile breakdown. So on the left hand side, we have all of our basic feral goat information. We have our class, difficulty, silver, gold, and diamond threshold. We have our weight from least 2 greatest in kilograms in pounds. And then we have our fur types, which are very complicated because their gender diversity of fur types are all over the place. Just for example, the albinos, the female albino is considered rare, and the male albino is considered very rare. And it's kind of crazy, like the black female is also considered rare, while for a black male, it's very rare. So I just wanted to point that out for clarification when it comes to the fur types for these guys, because I was kind of shocked trying to input all this information in for these guys. And I had to double check quite a few times to make sure I got everything right. So hopefully this helps you guys out when you're out there hunting. And then moving on to the center, we have all of our hotspots and stuff, which we covered in today's video. For some reason, down here in the bottom right, I did not mark the big lake as a hotspot, which it should be considered as, but I'll fix that when I upload it into my Discord. And in case you guys don't know, I do have a Discord where I upload all these pictures, so if you guys want to stop by there, you can click on it on my main page and hop on over where you can download these for yourself. Moving on, top right hand corner, we have all of our time zones nice and organized for you, and then below that we have our ammo chart for those full integrity kills. Now that pretty much does it today, folks, for today's video. So if you guys did enjoy it and it helps you out, please drop a like. It really helps out the channel. And with all the way, I hope you guys have a very wonderful day. Happy hunting, good luck, and I will see you guys in the next one.